You aren't still afraid of the dark, are you? Creepy things that go bump in the night? Do you remember the old stories you were told as a child? Have you ever wondered about those strange and creepy local tales? You know, the ones you've heard about from family and friends? Turn off your lights. Get comfortable, if you dare, as Michelle and Drew delve into the unknown and explore your local myths in this two-part series, The Strange Tales of the Pee Dee. The elephant at Patrick, also known as the elephant tree. The big female elephant killed on Big Juniper Creek escaped from a wagon circus which was booked for Patrick Tuesday. A crowd had assembled for the performance, and wonder was expressed in the non-appearance of the circus when the news was received that the elephant had broken bounds and was at large. The animal created great excitement. Many people and many of the citizens had never seen an elephant before. The posse that took up the beast's tail grew until it was said to be fully over 600 men on an awning in the chase. One man says that he fired 60 shots from a magazine pistol into the animal. Men who were in at the death say that not less than 6,000 shots were fired during the hunt. The elephant became unruly and broke away from its keeper at the circus, was proceeding from MacB to Patrick. The large female elephant was killed about 9 o'clock after more than 100 shots had been fired into her body. The most violent excitement followed the announcement that a member of the jungle's royalty was at large in their neighborhood. Wild rumors spreading telling of the damage done by the big beast as it traveled. They grew like Topsy and Snowball. Investigation indicates that no damage resulted for any but the unfortunate animal. It was ascertained later that the elephant killed was the property of a small show owned by a man named Gillespie, which the night previous had given an exhibition at MacB, some 18 miles above Patrick. The elephant had gotten away from the performance. His old keeper went to Hartsville, and from him it was learned that the elephant had been recently sold to Gillespie by Ringling Brothers Circus, and that at the cost of $6,000. The event happened where Bay Road comes into Highway 102 just above Hartsville. The animal was tracked down and slain. A large oak tree serves as a reminder where she died and was buried.
Okay, Drew, so we are on location today in Darlington County, and we have a tree. What have you found out about this tree?
Okay, so back in March of 1914, a circus came through MacB, headed towards Patrick, and made a stop in Hartsville. While stopped in Hartsville, the elephant, a very large female elephant, haven't been able to find right now what her name was, broke loose from the bounds and things that were holding her to the rest of the circus group, and just like went running about the area. And the townspeople, because they didn't know anything about these big African elephants and they were terrified of it, decided to form this huge posse of people. So we're talking 600 men that came out to try to hunt down and stop this, what they called a rogue elephant, from running amok in this area, which I can't see, just my personal opinion, it being a big issue having an elephant running out here, because there's a whole lot of nothing. So they formed this posse, these 600 guys or more, start going around looking for her, hunting her down, and when they find her, they fired over 6,000 shots towards the elephant. And that of those 6,000 shots, 100 of those shots were found to be inside of her body. So then they were like, okay, well, what do we do with this big elephant that we killed? And so right here is allegedly where they buried the elephant, and then after they buried her, they planted this tree, and it is still standing here. I guess like a memorial to the fact that she passed here. I would really like to see somebody maybe put a plaque out here that tells the story.
Yeah.
From a positive perspective, because I'd never heard that story as long as I've lived here.
Right, and I've lived in Darlington County my entire life and just found out about this, so I found that this was very interesting to know about. It's definitely a peaceful place.
I don't feel anything bad.
No, we hope she's resting well. We feel like she is. She's got a very lovely place to rest. She's got some horses out here to keep her company.
Beautiful lake,
yeah,
pond, whatever you want to call that. I don't feel any kind of like bad feeling out here, though if I were a hunted elephant, I would probably have some beef with some people. But maybe she can sense that we're friend, not foe. And haven't heard any elephants noises or anything out here. But it is a really beautiful area. If you're out and about heading towards Patrick and you just happen upon this tree, stop, pull over, maybe tell her, hey, I'm sorry for what happened to you.
Right.
Yeah, because it's tragic. It's tragic what happened. So
We do want to mention that if you do head out here, please be respectful. It is in a neighborhood. There are people that live around here. So if you do happen to come out this way, please be respectful of the land, be respectful of the people that live here and the animals that call this place home.
Exactly.
And the ones that are resting that call this place their resting grounds.
Exactly. Yep. So I think that's one of the 100 myths of the Pee Dee. So we'll be back with some more in just a minute. In a small community called Bingham, located near Latta in Dillon County, South Carolina, is the Binghams Light. The story of Binghams Light is about a man named John Bingham. John Bingham was a farmer who one night went hunting with his dog beside some railroad tracks. While walking beside the railroad track, he noticed that a piece of the track was under construction. A train was on its way, so he took his lantern and attempted to fix the tracks before the train came. He tried to warn the train with his lantern, but his flame was going out. Legend goes that he either slipped on the track or his foot got stuck and the train ran over him. According to some different sources, people say the light changes colors at night and sways back and forth. The light also flickers from when the fire was going out while Bingham was trying to warn the train about the broken track. People have said that while walking towards the light, it begins to get hotter and hotter. Other sources say that for the light to appear, you have to yell for him, and you will know you're close when the temperature drops.
Okay, Drew, here we are out in the middle of a field in Dillon. So tell us where we are today.
All right, we're out here in Dillon County around the Latta area in an area they call Bingham. And they call it that probably because of this legend that I'm going to tell you about. So there's a guy, his name was John Bingham or Bill Bingham. Two different stories say two different things. Well, Mr. Bingham was out walking his dog one night in this area, which used to be a railroad track. So here we are pretty sure from these posts that at some place here, maybe down this way, across that way, the railroad track led. Of course, the railroad track is no longer here. Well, Mr. Bingham was out walking his dog along the railroad tracks and noticed that one of the boards or the pieces of wood or part of the track was broken and missing, and in the foreground he could see there was a train coming. So Mr. Bingham bent over to try to pick up the track and fix that part before the train came. But he, worried that the train was going to continue to come through here and of course would have caused a terrible crash. Mr. Bingham started to swing his lantern he was carrying, because back then they didn't have flashlights, they carried lanterns. Mr. Bingham had a lantern, and he swung that lantern back and forth across the track like this in order to try to warn the train that there was something up ahead. Well, as he's swinging that lantern and walking along the track trying to warn the train, Mr. Bingham's foot got stuck in the track and the train hit Mr. Bingham and he died there on the track. That's the story that's told, and I'll be honest with you, like I have my, I listen to all the different stories and stuff like that, but every time I read that part of the story, you can literally feel the temperature change out here and a cool breeze come through. And I don't mean like a little temperature change. It is a hot South Carolina summer day, and it literally just got cold in the spot that I'm standing in. Now, you can take from that what you will, but there it goes again. So I'm just saying, there's all these different stories, and I stood here, and before I actually went on film, I practiced reading a bunch of different versions of the story, and every time that I read that version of the story, the temperature drops. So that's the story I'm bringing to you guys today, because I believe that's Mr. Bingham trying to tell us that that's what happened. So I also want to point something out to you guys. I think it's really cool, and we took a picture, and we will have that in this video also. But right here where I'm standing, and I'm not sure if you can see that in the video, but I will have a picture up. The grass and everything here in that spot that I'm standing in, where it is degrees cooler, is dead. But everything around it is living and thriving. But this one spot is literally dead. So, I don't know, you take from that what you will. In my opinion, that spot right there is where John Bingham died. I am no historical person or anything like that, but if I was to say, that's where I'd say he's at. And obviously, really great guy out there. There's some really ugly stories out there about it. I'm not even going to bring them up and say anything more about them than that. If you're going to retell the story of Binghams Light, I think you should retell the story that he was trying his hardest to warn that train of that. Well, the legend also goes that if you come out here at night, which we have not done, and you walk this area and along where these tracks would have been, you will see a light. Now, scientists and professors out at Librarian have tried to debunk that and say that it is swamp gases. Now, keep in mind, there are some swamps. If you go about a mile down there, you can see some swamp. If you go about the mile down that way, you can see some swamp. If you go a mile back that way, there's some swamps. There are also some gas, what do you call those?
The markers for the gas lines.
Markers for gas lines. So, I mean, okay, maybe, but in my opinion, I got a gas line just like that at my house, and I don't ever see any kind of funky lights around it. So, in my opinion, that's Mr. Bingham trying to warn you of a possible train. So, tune in for more as we continue on this haunting tales of South Carolina. Hope you guys enjoying.
So as we've been out here and a lot of the other sort of isolated places that we've been, we've noticed that we find evidence, as you can see,
Of slack teenagers.
yeah, of people coming out and partying at these locations or doing whatever, you know, miscreant type activities.
Which is terrible.
Yeah,
Pick up your
it's a bad
trash.
thing to do. Don't
Not
do it.
cool.
Not cool.
Cool.
If it is documented, if the story of this gentleman dying here, if that is true, which, you know, there's probably some sort of record. I mean, this isn't a place to come and leave your trash. If you want to come and hang out here and, you know, check it out, then do that. But, you know, don't leave your junk, man. That's just bad.
Put your junk in your trunk.
All right, that's what it's there for. So anyway, but that's just kind of a sad sort of
My trunk is full of people's junk
thing
right
that
now.
we've noticed is that people are coming out of these places and they're leaving their trash and they're not being very respectful of
The deceased.
and even the people who own this property, because I mean somebody has to own this land, and you know, if it were mine I wouldn't want you to leave your trash out here. So anyway, there's that.
Some have said down a dark, twisting country dirt road just on the outside of Hartsville, South Carolina, there is a tree. A tree that, no matter the season, refuses to turn green. No leaves grace the twisted, gnarled branches, while all around the colors of spring and fall mark the changes of time. This one tree seems frozen in the bitterness of winter. This tree is known as the witch's tree. Locals know it as the witch's tree, and back in the olden days, a tall maple tree stood in its spot. According to the legend, this was the favorite meeting spot of a coven of witches, who would meet under its majestic branches at midnight to cast their spells and brew their potions.
Oh, well, my phone is messing up. It won't let me stop recording.
Keep recording.
It's stuck.
This blue dot is just circling me. I ain't moving.
So your phone is acting weird too.
It is literally, I have not even moved a centimeter. And it is just circling me.
Do you know how to do a screen grab? Like a video grab of that? Here, I'll come get a picture of it.
Watch it. Okay, I'm not gonna move.
Well, we're still recording.
Oh, don't stop now. Keep going. It has not moved since you tried to record. I'm gonna pull away from you again. There she goes.
You do it again?
Watch it.
So both of our phones are acting weird out here.
Look, you started recording again and it stopped moving. And just started doing that pulsating thing. You see it?
Yeah.
Now move away from me again. Go ahead. Get through there, girl. You just gonna stand behind us?
Watch. It won't let me stop recording.
I see that. It's frozen on record.
It won't let me stop.
Well, pan it around us because I think she's here.
There's something.
She's here. Somebody's with us. And by my dot, it's behind me. Crazy. She's moving again. She's moving right towards us. Fast. It's circling again. You see it? Oh, now she'll stop again.
No, she's gonna stop again, yeah. All right.
I just got chills.
This is certainly...
She's on the move again. Cause you're not looking.
She's checking us out. Something is.